right, good. So our warm-up drill today is going to look a little different than it has in the past.
Okay.
We're going to kind of incorporate today's task in our warm-up. So the gist of it is you're going to start on your near side post. So in this case, it's going to be on the blocker side post. You're going to shuffle across your glove side post. Get a good post integration on that side. Shuffle back to your blocker side post. And then you're going to bump out a little front side push. So if you want to stand right here real quick. Starting on our near side post, I want to see good head movement, right? Our eyes are always going to lead the body. Across. I have my stick on the outside in case there's a wrap attempt or a pass out front. I'm going to shuffle back once again, leading with my head and my eyes, keeping my stick in a good position. Then once I get here, I'm going to bump out with a little bit of like a front side push, basically. It's kind of like a half shuffle, half T push, because you're not really getting your T in there. You're kind of, shuffling with this foot and that foot over so that we're going to be square to the puck. Okay. Once you make that save, right, it's going to be a recovery, back to our feet, backside push, push across, out, save, recovering with the left foot, back out. Good? We're going to do it slow. Remember, I want to see nice controlled movement, and then we'll speed it up as we go. All right, nice and slow, go. Yep, try and keep that stick on the outside of that post. Try it again. As we come around, really try and make sure that we're conscious of wrapping that stick outside. Go. Back across, and then bump out. Good, right back up. Remember, recovering to our feet, yep. Everything's gonna be up on our feet this time. And then bump out. There it is. Back to our feet, good. Keep it going. Remember, when we're in this tight, we can use that blocking stance instead of necessarily bringing our hands out as far. Because when I'm in this tight, all right, the puck's going to have less room to get up top. But if we have our hands too far extended out, it creates other options for the puck to find. So as you're coming out like that, all right, try and keep in mind, blocking butterfly. Let me see a blocking butterfly. Good, but we can still keep that butt up and the chest forward. Yep, like that. Turn this glove over just a little bit. There you go, because now you're closing down all those holes that I was finding before. All right, so if I'm knee tight, going with a blocking stance, if I'm further back, that's when we can bring our hands forward. Okay. All right, so let's get one more in. Go. Yep. There it is. Look at that, right? And that has the benefit of sealing off all those rebounds. So you become a little more sticky. Try it again, one more. Good job. All right, we're going to switch sides. Same thing. I want you to be conscious, though, of that stick wrap on the far side. So as we're coming around, I really want you to overemphasize bringing that blocker hand out so you can wrap your stick. Because what happens is a lot of time we play more conservative during the game than we would in practice. So if you over-exaggerate in practice, when you play that in the game, you're going to end up in the perfect position, right? So you're going to stay a little more conservative than you normally would as you've been sort of doing in practice. So really bring that blocker hand and snap that around so you can make sure that stick doesn't get caught. Go. Good. Back over. Pump out. Good. Nice release into that shooting lane. Go. Much better address on that, right? Because the shooting is going to be a lot tighter towards the goal line versus out on that other side. So you're going to have to address how I'm coming out. Right before you had to come out a little bit further. Now you're going to stay a little closer to that post because my shooting, my release angle is shorter. All right, keep going. There it is. sometimes you do great releasing from your feet right here into the shooting lane. Right? Sometimes you don't necessarily find that. So what you can do also, another option is you can drop where you are, but then roll your shoulders over into that shooting lane. So what it's going to do is, if you want to stand right here real quick, after I C-cut off that post and come out, right? What's happening is I'm in a good position right here, but there is a little bit of space when I go down into my butterfly. So if I just lean over, knowing that a slight little lean like that is going to seal off all that space, right? Little adjustment over, and I'm taking away all that angle. So keep that in mind. It's another option. If you find yourself sort of flat-footed or set, and you want to close off, if you see me going that short side, just give a little shoulder lean, okay? Go. Yep, bump out. There it is, good job. Notice how that took away all that spot, right? And it had the puck fall right in front of you, easy recovery. Go. Bump out. There, great job. All right. So now we're gonna take this, and instead of being on our feet post to post, we're gonna practice what we're doing with our RVH, since that's your preferred post method. So I want you to get comfortable rocking back and forth from that RVH position. And remember last week we were talking about using our upper body momentum to give us forward movement. So instead of necessarily relying on pushing off that post, I'm going to use my upper body, and then what I'm going to do is as I'm rocking my upper body from left to right, I'm then going to engage my core as my center of gravity is coming over my lead leg. And that's going to help transfer that energy from my upper body to my lower body, and it'll help me naturally move across the crease, right, without necessarily having to use my skates. And this will be much more evident on the ice, obviously, as there's more friction here. But as I rock my body, I can then transfer that way. Rocking over, finding that center point, and then transferring. Alright, so as you can see, my center of gravity is just transferring from my left knee to over my right knee. And I'm getting that good post lean, keeping my shoulders upright. So I'm just going to have you go back and forth. Alright, notice how I have to really get my skate in tight, because if I don't, it slips out. Right? But if I bring it in tight, I've got more pressure to transfer it up. So you're just going back and forth, trying to keep ourselves right on the post. Try that. Transferring that weight, finding that rhythm. All right, on this one, I want you to bring that glove a little bit off your body. So instead of bringing it in tight to your midsection, I want you to have it out. Because what happens is when you bring it in like this, it's basically pointless. Because your chest is right here. If we hold it out here, all of a sudden we take up a lot more space. Right. And if there is, let's say, behind the net, pass out front, right, our glove is in a great position as we transfer our weight back up over our left leg, right there. All right, versus back into your post. If I have my glove wrapped in tight and the puck comes out, now I have to then unravel that glove to get it in position. So try and make sure that, see where your elbow is right now? Lock that, just like that as we come into the post. That's perfect. Yep. All right, back to your glove side. Back to your blocker side. Keeping that glove out. Good. Yep. When we go into that blocker side, I want you to keep your blocker on top of your pad when we go into that blocker side post. Yep. Find your elbow. Good. Back to your glove side. Yep. 2 more. Keeping that glove out. Good. Back to your glove side rather. There it is. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, except I'm going to put shots on net. So we're going to do back and forth, same way, except when you come back to here, I'm going to put a shot on short side right into that. All right, so we want to focus on sealing up those holes as best we can. So as we're coming back across, focusing on trying to tie up all that space. Yep, getting our glove on top of our pad, like that, shoulders up, good. All right, and I want you to have your stick presented. Yep, so if I try and go this side, right, you can just extend that blocker, get a piece of it, put it right into the corner. All right, so we're going back to our blocker side. Yep, back to our glove side. Back to our blocker side. Glove side. Good, keep it up. Two more. Nice. Sorry to hit you in the face, but you did great on that one. Go. There it is. Good job. All right, we're going to do the other side now. Same thing. All right, but now we're going to just take in shots when we're coming back to our blocker side. Same thing. Remember what we were talking about before? As you come across, keeping that chest up tall, getting that blocker sitting right on top of our pad. We don't want any redundancy. We don't want to be too close to the ice on that one, right? Because our pad's going to cover all that down low. All right, whenever you're ready. Yep, coming across. Finding that blocker on top of our pad, right? Up, up, up. Bring that blocker in, wrap your elbow around. Yep. There you go. All right, because now what you're doing is you're a lot taller in your stance. You're cutting down that angle, right? Just like that. Keep it going. Back to our blocker side, keeping that blocker up. Good. Go. There it is. Keep it up. There. Good job. Two more. Nice. Keeping that glove. See, that's why we want to keep our glove there, right? You can actually even bring it in on this one, up, like that. Yep. See, if I try and go far side on you, back into your lean, right? Block her up a little bit higher. Whew. Not really much space there. Yep, see? You don't even have to really move. You become just like an impenetrable object. There's really only space. Like, I would have to really pick that corner. You heard it, right? That second to last shot, it just missed your glove on the, like, outside of the post. There was maybe a little bit of space there. And that's the thing, is sometimes there's going to be space, right? But we're going to take away as much of it as possible. So back into your post lean. Yep, block, remember. Find that space here. Back up towards the line a little bit more. Yep. All right, bring your boot out to the end of the post. So your toe bridge is like sitting on it, so a little bit more. Yep, come out a little bit more. Yep. All right, getting that there. Or what I like to do is come out a little bit more around on that post, because then what happens is if we try and put our elbow in the post, right, it kind of crams us. We lose a little bit of that ability to seal off up here. Versus if we bring our elbow out, now you can bring your shoulders up. So if you plant your left leg and you put that vertical energy up towards your top, right? So back in your RVH, all right? I want you to now use that to drive your hips up so that your shoulders come up off the ice more. Yep, just like that. See how you're getting totally vertical. There's literally like a sliver of space, and if I'm in this tight, there's gonna be no way the puck from in tight is gonna find that. That would be really tough. I would have to probably hit under the crossbar, right over your ear, and then hope that the bounce went in. There's no other space at that point. So that's a great way. So take your shoulders up and put your head and your shoulders more in that space up tall, and then know that you're sealed off perfectly down below. Okay. So now that we've gone post to post, now we're gonna practice going post to post and then bumping off into a shot. Same as we were doing before. As we go from our glove side across to our blocker side, right? We're then gonna bump off the post a little bit. So there's two ways you can do that. You can either use your left skate, right? I can C-cut it back and off, or I can use the momentum as I'm coming into this post to then bump off. So I can kind of use the bump. See how I used my skate on my left foot to kind of push me out, over, and then I have my left leg, my anchor leg up, And then I can use that to kind of C-cut, half push off the post. So I want you to try that a couple times with no shot. Just coming from our low side post to our blocker side, and then bumping off that post so that you're square to this shot right here. And then bumping off, good. Just like that. Try it again. And then bumping off, there it is. All right, try it again. This time there's gonna be a shot. And then bumping off into the shooting lane, good. Bumping off into the shooting lane, there it is. Nice job, 2 more. Last one. So that was, I mean, as close as I could get to trying to go over your shoulder between your ear. You got just enough of it, hit the post, and pop at the other side. So on this next one, I want you to try and bring your butt up a little bit and your shoulders forward. All right, and then have those gloves just on top of your pad versus overlapping a little bit. See what that does, all right? Post to post. Yep. Bump back, and then come out. Shoulders up, and bring our gloves up just a little bit so that they're just, when we're straight armed, they're just touching. Yep. Good. Nothing. Just barely grazed you. I had to really pick that corner in order for it to miss your shoulder and then pop up into there. Same thing. All right, stand straight up tall. Yep. All right. Now I want you to bring your shoulders forward a little bit up over your knees. Yep, and then bring your arms in a little bit more. Yep. Curl your elbows a little. Yep, nothing there now. So what you're doing is you're taking that from a more shoulders back. By rotating my upper body forward a little bit, you're cutting down on that like 2-3 inches that I was seeing up top. So notice that, right? Back into your original stance with your shoulders down and your butt. Yep, and now bring those shoulders up, over your knees, and then bring those gloves in. Yep, just like that. You got a lot taller up in that area up top, and you took away a lot of that space, right? Trying to really find that angle. And there's nothing aside from picking those corners. And if I try and go for that glove side corner, give a little shoulder lean. Yep, perfect. All right, same thing, right in our center, and then a little shoulder lean. So you're filling that space with a half a lean. Same thing on the blocker side, a little shoulder lean. Good. Notice that half, not even like a half a foot that we're moving our shoulders, takes away all that space. And notice how much easier a little shoulder lean is versus trying to get your foot up and then butterfly slide over, right? So a little shoulder lean to our glove side. All right, nothing there. Now, instead, try and plant your foot, right? Plant your right foot and then push over. Right? A lot more effort versus just a little bit of a slight adjustment. Nice. All right, so now what we're doing is we're finding a way to minimize the movement and maximize our energy level. So what we're doing is we're taking all that extra move that we're doing to try and get over, square to that puck, and we're just minor adjustments. A lot less energy being expended on that. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Yep, and then bumping off into the shooting line. Trying to keep that. Yep, so what you just saw there is you had your boot inside the post, and then when you tried to bump off, you came off a little sideways. All right, so try and really aim that toe bridge. So I like catching the post right above the cow ring, yep, and below the toe bridge. Notice how, especially since you have those flex toes, right, you have a little bit of space there that you can create. That right there is a perfect post seal. Because what you're doing is you're using the way the pad is designed to close off that gap versus putting your blade on the post right? Now we have a gap here that the puck could find. We're putting a boot inside the post, right? All the way inside, yep. Now we're hooked on the inside. So if we try and push out, right, it's always gonna catch. And we're gonna end up spinning a little this way. So as you come across, try and really focus on aiming that toe bridge right here. All right, so go back and forth a couple times and really focus on your eyes, right, and aim with that toe. Yep, good, just like that. That's your, yep, and now you can bump out a lot easier. All right, back and forth, just don't even bump out on these, just go and find that toe bridge. Try it again, it's all good. Literally focus, look at your toe, right, look at it and focus on it, right, use that visual. Yep, look at your toe, find it, there you go, same thing. Look at your toe, find it, good. Try it again, it's okay. It takes practice because what's happening is as we're bringing our body back across, your pad is starting inside and then you have to readjust your angle into the post. So it takes a little bit of an adjustment as we're pushing across because we're normally going to have that energy transfer and that's not necessarily going to set us right straight in the line. Sometimes we go a little bit inside the net, sometimes outside the net. So as you're extending this leg to receive the post, right, really try and focus on pointing that toe and engaging these muscles so that way we can try and really focus on putting the toe right on the post. Give me 2 more. Yep. Good. 1 more. Yep. Good. All right, now this next one I want you to bump off. Right, when you come back to this post. Yep. Yep. Back across, find that toe, and then bump off. Good. Nice job. All right, now we're going to do it with some shots. Same thing. If I look to be trying to pick a corner or go by your ear, give a little shoulder lean into that shooting. All right, same thing. But this time, remember, as we come off that post, it's going to be different than when we were on the other side because my shooting angle is a lot tighter to the goal line. Yep, and then bumping off. Good. Try it again. Sorry, that was my fault. I shot too soon. Try it again. And then popping off the post. Yep, so try and bring that anchor leg in, your right leg, try and bring that in a little tighter as you enter the post. Bring it in tighter, 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 tighter. Yep, and now you can push off that heel of your anchor leg and then extend yourself forward. Try it again. Yep, and then use your right leg to push yourself up. Good. Try it again. Yep. Using that right C-cut. There it is. Right leg C-cut. Nice. Good active hands on that one. Keep it up. Good. More. Nice. Good anticipation. Last one. There it is. Good rack, good rack. All right. Next drill is going to be very similar, except this time we're going to have a second chance opportunity. So it's going to be the same thing. We're going to go post to post, bump out for that short side shot, and then we're going to then play this as a rebound. So after you make that first save, you're going to need to plant your left side leg, so your left leg, and then push across into that shooting. All right? Yep. Post to post. Back into your glove side, bump off. All right, then we're going plant. There it is. All right, but try and keep that stick up. All right, try and keep your blocker in a good position. Don't drop it down too early. All right, try it again. Yep. And then pump out. better on that second shot. Next one, we're going to play rebound on these next couple reps. All right, so if there's a rebound on that second chance opportunity, let's scramble for it. Oh, I don't know how that ramped up and in.
I don't know.
I think your stick was on like just a perfect angle for it to get a little bit up and then through your arm. Good. Nice battle for it. If you hadn't stuck your stick out like that, I would have been able to stick handle and go back. But because you came out aggressively, even a stick chuck sometimes is perfect because it's going to take half step, full second for your teammates to get back, and then be able to play that puck as well. Last one. And then bump out. Good. Alright, we're going to do the other side now. Nice. Good job. Another reason to have your stick like that. See? Sometimes when those pucks hit you, they jump like on your blocking butterfly. Right? Sometimes when those pucks hit you, they'll end up jumping right here and you can just easily gobble that up. Try it again. Aiming with those toes. Good. Two more. Nice. Good read. Good a second adjustment. You took that extra push. All right, that was great. Try it again. Last one. Where's that rebound? Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Last thing we're going to do is we kind of covered the first two angles here. Coming across post to post, bump out, right? For a short side shot, but we don't necessarily want to be stuck on the post. We want to come out a little bit more aggressive, take away that far side. We then went for a secondary where we had the bump out and then the release into that rebound opportunity and scramble if there is one. Now we're going to practice coming off our post back to our feet. Planting our feet at the top of the crease, setting our hands, right? Nice, good position. So that way we can take away the shots that may be coming out from, let's say, like the outside, high slot, etc. So this will give you kind of a good idea of, right? Short side, want to be more aggressive. Short side, rebound. Short side, high slot. Okay. So it's going to be similar, right? We're going to go post to post on our RVH. And then you're going to come out, but I'm not going to stay static necessarily. I'm not just going to shoot from one position. As you're going post to post and before you come out, I'm going to move around a little bit. So I want you to address where I am with the puck as you're coming across and then bumping off the post back to your feet. So I might shoot from here, right? Next time I might come from here. So I want you to be aware of where you are in the crease, all right, and where I am as well as my shooting at. All right, let's see it. You want to use my stick for this one? Sure. See if you want to post to post. Yep, back to your blocker side, getting a good seal, then back to your feet. Good. Back to your post. Yep, post to post. Good. Try it again, one more. Back to your feet. All right, then stay with. Good. Now, all right, we're gonna do the other side now. Same thing. All right, whenever you're ready. Good. Back to your post. Post to post. Had to come out a little bit. Yeah, it's okay. I like that you saw what happened. All right? You already knew what it was. Try it again. 2 more. Good. Last one. So, I want to point something out that you did on that play. As I found that rebound, you could have easily pushed in anticipation. What you did was you set your leg so that you had a good push. However, you waited until I actually made my move. So that was really smart because what it's showing is patience, right? And it's allowing you to stay neutral until a play is made. So I think that was a great read. How much more time do we have? All right, we got about 5 minutes. This next drill, I'm going to start right here with a puck. You're going to start on your short side post. We're going to bump out to this shot. I'm going to take it, and then I'm going to drive to the far side post. All right, so it's going to be the same thing. We're going to start on our feet, short side post. We're going to stay on our feet going post to post. And then as soon as we arrive here, coming out to adjust the play, shot, and then we're going to drive across that far side post. And I want you to be conscious of your angle that you're taking across. If I'm driving from here towards the post directly, right, then we're going to cut that off by going towards the post. If I'm here and I drive more parallel to the goal line, that's when I want you to come more out on your recovery push to try and take away some of that additional angle that's being created.
You want me to stay up the whole time?
I'd like you to try and stay up as much as possible. So if I give you time to stay on your feet after this first shot, and you can recover and then shuffle over, that's at your best. All right, go. Stand up. Stay out. Good. Bad shot. One more. Good. Much better. All right, we're going to do this side now. Nice assessment. You didn't have enough time to get up, so you pushed across. Sometimes it's going to have to be whatever the moment calls for. You can't say everything's going to be the same. Sometimes we'll have time to get back to our feet, sometimes we won't. Right? It's all about adapting to the play and figuring out a way through it. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be the ideal, but testing of a good goalie is someone who can roll with it. It's kind of like an improv. I hadn't go into it with my set, right? My outline, what I want to accomplish. But throughout that performance, there may be times when a wrench gets thrown into it, and I have to adapt to it. And the best way that you can adapt to it is in a way that nobody realizes you're struggling. Right? It's kind of like, the way I like to say it is, a duck sitting on a pond. Top half of the duck is very still, whereas the bottom half is kind of gyrating crazily, right? Keeping them afloat, swimming around. But you wouldn't know from seeing them from waterline up. They seem so calm. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. We're looking to say, you can't see the scramble, right? You're just going to see the calm, collected, precise, safe selections, right? Whereas in reality, maybe it's a completely broken play. You've got scramble, all right? But the more stabilized you stay, the more controlled you stay, the easier it's going to be on you, and the better it's going to look for your teammates, right? Because they're going to see you as a stable, no matter what happens, right? Crazy play breaks out, they know you're going to stay nice, calm, and collected back there, ready to bail them out. Same thing, post to post. All right, coming out, coming out. Of keeping your glove up on top of your pad. So it made like a very major pad because you had your arm right down on your pad like that with your glove up. So what it did is it took away a lot of that extra space. So as a shooter, a lot of times they're trained to try and go up over the pad. But if you put an extra little 4 or 5 inches there because your arm and your glove is there, it's going to take away a lot of time. Try it again. Yep. Try it again. Yep. There we go. Last one. Nope. Controlling the puck. Up. Good. Now stay there. All right. Back around the pylon. Pass it back. Okay. Last one. Ooh. Try it again.